Okay, today we are making Haystacks. They're a non-bake cookie, which is perfect if you want to get the kids involved once the cooking on the stove is over. When the kids were growing up, we called them mud pies, but most of the recipes out there now call them Haystacks. I don't know whether it's a Canadian, US thing, but regardless, they're super, super easy. So the first thing you do is put in 2 cups, just white granulated sugar. You put in half a cup of butter. Half a cup of milk. Six tablespoons of cocoa. And all you're going to do is mix this really well. Let the butter melt. I'm just doing this on kind of medium-low. It's not something you want to do on high, and you're just getting all of the cocoa. You can sift the cocoa. I don't usually. The lumps in the cocoa eventually disappear. Make sure and scrape the sides. And as you can see, it's getting nice and chocolatey looking. And you're just trying to get this to go to a boil. And once it gets to a boil, you're only going to boil it for about 30 seconds. Just kind of scraping the butter on the bottom of the pan, like pressing it down, just trying to get it to melt quicker. Because sometimes you'll find it's almost boiling and not quite all the butter has melted, and you're going to see like little dark chunks in there from the cocoa. You can just press them up against the sides of the pan to break them up. And there's all different types of cocoa. I just generally use for cookies like this because we make a lot of them at Christmas time. I just generally use the no name brand cocoa. It's good enough. It gives it a nice chocolatey flavor. And we do up a lot of these. They freeze extremely well. They're good for a good 3 months in the freezer. It's the end of October here, so now is the time we start baking for Christmas, because all of the baked goods will be done, consumed by the end of January, so this is a perfect time to start. And we do so much because we do up little individual packages of 3 to 4 cookies, different types of cookies a piece. And we package them up in cellophane with like a little Merry Christmas tag and a ribbon, and we drop them off at our local homeless shelter. The one we support the most is called Street Help. And we package them up frozen the day we're dropping them off or the night before, so they're nice and fresh. And we drop them off there to hand out. Give them a little Christmas cheer, something to bring with them when they leave. You know, they'll come in for a meal or something like that. Our city right now is in crisis. There's no housing available. You know, a lot of times you'll see people who are homeless that maybe there might be some sort of addiction issues, mental health issues, things like that. But in our city, the problem is there's zero housing available right now. And so you're getting a lot of families, people who have jobs and are working, that are living in their cars because they can't afford a place to rent. Rents have doubled here in the past 2 years. So we're in crisis, so I'm trying to help out what is, you know, as much as I can, which isn't a great deal, but... So I'm giving you like a little thing on my city right here. But, you know, it doesn't take a lot to help someone, you know, pick a few things up at the Dollar Tree or something, even if it's, you know, socks. Socks are very popular for homeless people. They're on their feet a lot, and a lot of times their socks and that wear out. And, you know, obviously, for hygienic purposes, they could do with a fresh pair of socks once in a while. Okay, so this should be getting almost to the boiling point. I stopped stirring just to see. Now, this recipe is really easy. I'm sure many of you have already seen it before or make these. Here we go. But I'm showing it because there's a lot of young people who have never baked or cooked and might want to do something really super simple. So now that this is boiling, I'm just giving it a minute. And this is, you just want to get it boiling because you want to make sure that all of the sugar has dissolved. You don't want like granularly cookies. Okay, and this couple more seconds. Okay, I'm going to take this off the heat. Stir it a little bit so it cools down. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I prefer, always bubbles up when you do that. I prefer pure vanilla extract. If you can't afford it, use the imitation, but I really prefer the pure one. Okay, and I'm going to put in 3 cups of oats. I use the quick oats. And then you're going to put in 1 cup of coconut. Usually use the sweetened one. I like the ones with kind of like the longer, you know, some is like really short pieces of it. I kind of like the longer ones in these cookies. Okay, this is basically like this is done, the cooking part of it, and we're going to be right back. I'm just going to set things up for the next stage. Okay, so we are back. I put out, if you're doing this on counters, I just put out a layer of wax paper. I've got 2 down here. because I've got my tablecloth on there and I just want to make sure nothing damages it. Now, I prefer scoops. I love these. I think they're by OXO. I'll put a link if I can find them below where you can buy them. I have these in 3 different sizes. I love them because it makes everything a uniform size. But you know what? You can use just a regular tablespoon or whatever you want. And you just put them out like that. And then I take a fork or the back of the spoon and I just flatten them. And that's all you have to do. You just keep on doing it, and then you're just going to leave them on the wax paper, and for a lot of times several hours. Some people leave them out overnight. You just let them sit there and they'll kind of not harden, but kind of dry out so they remain together. And once that's done, then they just easily come off of the wax paper. Store them in an airtight container. Put them in Tupperware or even Ziploc bags. Put them in the freezer. They'll last at least 3 months there. And these things you can even eat frozen. I know this because sometimes during the holidays you kind of get a hankering for them. And yeah, you just pull them out of the freezer and bite into them. So these are great. Kids love them. Doesn't matter if you call them haystacks or mud pies. They are terrific. Kids like being part of it because they can scoop it out or flatten it. They're, you know, the pot right now, like I can put my hands on it, so there's not a whole lot of danger for children there. And so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me what you call them, or if you've ever made them with your kids. And be sure to check out our playlist. Under our playlist, you'll see recipes, and you can see all of the recipes we post for like main courses. And we're going to be posting a lot of cookies and desserts now that Christmas is coming. And thanks again for joining us. Have a good day.